Welcome to The Sideline, the show that brings perspective to the fan. I'm Jay Martin. While everyone knows how hard John Daly hits the ball, many would be surprised to find out how big his heart is. Everyone is dying to go home with an Emmy. On January 22nd, this Easy Mart on Weddington requested a beer license. Although the flooding around Arkansas was the talk of the town, high winds did great damage as well. Welcome to the Water Cooler, one of the best places to get a quick talk about sports and at the workplace. Thanks to Pixar, we've seen the world through the eyes of toys, cars, fish, monsters, and now a trash compacting robot named Wally. Everyone knew Patrick Beverly was dismissed from the team, but no one knew why or where he was going. At least now we can answer one of those questions. It's been 17 years since George Michael last toured North America. Most of his fans simply have to have faith that this won't be his last. Over 1,000 games have been played since John Pelphrey proudly wore the Kentucky Wildcat uniform. 2 national championships and 9 SEC tournaments won since the '92 season. Yet there's only one team known as the Unforgettables. Seniors John Pelphrey, Darren Feldhaus, Richie Farmer, and Sean Woods led the Wildcats to the Elite Eight in 1992, where they would lose to Duke in double overtime in what is known as one of the greatest college basketball games in history. Saturday marked the first time John Pelphrey returned to Rupp Arena in Kentucky as a head coach.
And the head coach of Arkansas, John Pelphrey.
I knew there was going to be a flood of memories and emotions go through me when I got back in the building, driving up into the parking lot. I love this place when I play. I had a deep affection for it. It meant something to me.
Pelphrey isn't remembered as one of the greatest to ever walk through the halls of Kentucky, but he is remembered as one of the few players that restored life and hope into Rupp Arena. Kentucky is known for its powerful tradition, something Coach John Pelphrey hasn't forgotten.
Still very humbled about having a chance to play here. Had great coaches, great teammates. Very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate.
Reporting for UATV, I'm Jay Martin. The moment a new building is put into the works, architects and engineers begin planning sustainable design. Sustainability refers to using energy properly from the materials to the construction to the maintenance over the years. Head of the architecture department at the University of Arkansas is Associate Professor Timothy DeNoble, and one of his favorite parts about sustainable design is that the buildings don't necessarily have to look different from the outside.
There's a misconception that we're going to end up with a kind of granola building simply because we're trying to be sustainable, but in fact a distinctive design is certainly possible.
These windows on the new JBH building not only give it a modern look, but they also provide natural sunlight, which is one of the main components of sustainable design. Despite the advances in the sustainability movement, some states are still holding back.
There is a law in Arkansas that says that the water in the toilets has to be potable. I know that my dog likes to drink out of the toilet, but I don't know anybody else that particularly would take a cup and dip it in there.
While the J.B. Hunt building and Willard Walker Hall don't store rainwater for irrigation like California and some of the other coastal states, they do include many energy-efficient concepts. Reporting for UATV, I'm Jay Martin. Televisions are turning off while computers are turning on. Today's society can watch funny videos on the ever-growing website YouTube, receive cooking lessons from the Food Network, or watch movie trailers from the most anticipated movie.
Missed it by that much.
Of course, all this wouldn't be possible without Mark Cuban. Mark and partners sold Broadcast.com in 1999 to Yahoo, making video streaming possible, something used widely around the globe.
The quality of the streaming is obviously a lot better, but the concept's all the same. And really, the limitations are still all the same too. You're still going to get buffering, you're still going to get people who can't get on, just because the internet's not a medium for broadcast television.
Although it might not be the best medium for broadcast television, all major networks are placing their top-rated programs online. ABC's Desperate Housewives, NBC's The Office, and CBS's How I Met Your Mother are all featured online. With video streaming accessible to anyone, even the University of Arkansas has made its way to the internet.
So this year, I'm going to take you on a guided tour.
While video streaming has improved, there's still a great deal of work left to be done. Reporting for UATV, I'm Jay Martin. HBO's hit show, The Sopranos, is known for drugs, murder, betrayal, and now charity. 25 outfits worn by James Gandolfini's character, Tony Soprano, raised more than $185,000 at a Christie's auction Wednesday, aiding soldiers wounded in Afghanistan and Iraq. The largest single bid of nearly $45,000 went for a suit covered with fake blood, which Tony wore when he was shot. Other clothes include a bathrobe, short-sleeve polos, tank tops, and of course pants. The producer of Survivor, Mark Burnett, will have to outwit, outplay, and outlast his ex-business partner in court over a $70 million dispute. On Monday, Conrad Riggs filed a lawsuit saying Burnett neglected to pay him 10% of the show's profits, which he was owed based on a long-standing verbal agreement. Although Riggs was offered a contract to formalize the agreement in 2007, Riggs declined because he says the terms of the contract differed from their previous arrangement. The two men produced more than a dozen shows together, including conceptualizing the show Survivor. Mamma Mia, here we go again. Despite missing the deadline late Sunday night, contract negotiations continue between the Broadway theater producers and the Actors Union. In a joint statement Monday, both sides said talks remain productive and believe a fair contract will be met. The main issues discussed are levels of payment on tour, the role of new media, and safety on elaborate sets. Both sides are doing their best to avoid a repeat of last November's 19-day strike, which resulted in millions of dollars lost. In her debut as a Razorback, Sarah Landau made a statement, jumping 13.1½ at the Louisiana Classic. On Tuesday, she was named the SEC Athlete of the Week. Landau's an enormous lift to the women's track and field program and will only bolster the pole vault division to another level. The Razorbacks had 3 girls jump at the Indoor National Championship, and now as they head to outdoor, it looks as though they could possibly send 4. Landau has already qualified for nationals 3 different times in her collegiate career, making Arkansas's pole vault division the best in the nation, alongside Katie Stripling, Stephanie Irwin, and Tara Diebold. The girls next head to Austin for the Texas Relays on April 2nd. Ladyback Gymnastics squad will take on their stiffest competition of the year when they head to the SECs this weekend. Every SEC school that has a gymnastics squad is ranked in the top 25 in the nation. Georgia leads the way with a pair of household names in Olympian gymnasts Courtney Kupitz and Courtney McCool. The Ladybacks have made their best marks of the season when they hit the road, and it wouldn't be surprising to see them in the mix heading into the final routines. Definitely keep tabs on the SECs because it's without a doubt a rehearsal for the NCAA Regionals April 12th. When we return to the sideline, Joe and I talk about the NCAA tournament and a little MLB. We'll be back.